Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm showing how to make labels to put on mesh bags for board game and card game storage. I actually got this idea from Susie from the Busy Toddler account on Instagram, and I thought it would be fun to use my Cricut machine to add labels. These really help save space, and our game board boxes were so beat up, so these look a lot nicer too. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy it, and I would love it if you subscribed if you are new, and let's get into the tutorial. The first thing that I'm going to do is grab my font. I'm going to go over to text, and I'm using the font Aubrey. I believe I downloaded this from dafont.com, and I thought it was a fun font for kids, so I'll select that. Then I'm going to start typing in the board game names. First, I'm just going to type all of them in, and then I'm going to play around with the spacing. Okay, here is all of the board games that I'm going to be adding to the bags. I'm just going to move these around so it's easier to see it. Now I'm just going to select on the first one, and I want to center all of these, so I'll go up to my alignment tool and select that, then I'll hit center. Also, with these letters, I kind of want it to be spaced out a little bit more, so I'm going to go over to my letter space and bring it up just a little bit. I also want the spaces in between the words to be a little bit closer together, so I'm going to go to my line spacing and start bringing it in a little bit. Okay, I like how that looks a little better, but I want it to match with everything else. So if you look up with the letter spacing, it's 0.2. So I'm going to go over to Candyland and type in 0.2 after the 0 just to make it the same. And I'll do that for all of these. Now I'm going to go over to Chutes and Ladders. I'm going to center it. Then I'm going to look back at what line space I used, and it was negative 2.9. So I'll come back over here and select my line space. Then I'll type in negative 0.29 and hit enter, and it'll automatically bring it down to the same one as that one. So I'll go over to Getty and my spaghetti and center that. You can also go back to this, highlight over the whole thing, and you'll want to make sure you get that negative in there. Then hit Command C or Control C on your computer to copy it. Then I'll go back down to Getty and my spaghetti, and I'll double click. Then I'm going to hit Command V or Control V. That'll paste it in there, and if I hit enter, it'll do it as well. So now I'll go to Pretty Pretty Princess, which was a game that I played when I was a kid, and my mom got this for my daughter. So I'll go back up and double click here, and I'm just going to paste it and hit enter. Next, I need to figure out sizing, and I have a really good trick for this that I will show you here in a minute, but I'm going to grab my square and I'm going to make this the size of my bags. So I'll come up here and hit unlock. And on the website, it says it's 13.5 inches by 9.5 inches, but when I measure it, it seems like it's more 13.25, so I'm going to go with that. Okay, now I'm going to use this rectangle to figure out what size I want to make these. I need to center this one. Sizing can be just a little bit tricky with this because Candyland is obviously longer than the PJ Masks one, and I want it to all be the same size. I'm going to look at the width of these and figure out which width is the biggest, and I'm going to use that to figure out my sizing. So if I click on the PJ Masks one, it's 5.5. Connect 4 is about 6 inches. Yeti and my spaghetti is 8 inches, and Candyland 6 inches. So I'm going to use this one. I'm also going to right click and send this to the back. Then I'll bring my Yeti and my spaghetti over here and see what size I want to make this. I'm going to highlight over both of these and center just to give it a little bit better idea. I think that looks pretty good for the sizing. So the next thing I want to show you though is this width is 8.255. So if I try to make this width 8.255, it's going to make it way bigger than my Yeti and my spaghetti. And I want it to be the same size. So I'm going to hit undo. And what I'm actually going to do is look at my font size over here. So Yeti and my spaghetti font size is 74.22. I'm going to make it even and make it 75. And then I am just going to make the rest of these all 75 for the font size. Now if I bring Yeti and my spaghetti back over here, they all kind of line up and match pretty well. Also, I can test this out and make sure these still look good, and it looks like these will be a good size for my bag. I am going to delete this, and you can see the sizing for all of these. One's not way bigger than the other, so it matches really well. The zippers on my bags are all different colors, and because these are all kids games, I decided it would be fun to make all of these different colors to make it more bright and fun, and I try to kind of match the color with the board game. So I'm going to do Yeti and my spaghetti red. I'm going to switch all of these colors to the corresponding vinyl color that I want to use, if that makes sense. So Connect 4, I'm going to do yellow. The PJ Masks game, I'm going to do a darker blue. Candyland, I'm going to do purple. Chutes and Ladders, I'm going to do green. And Pretty Princess has like a light blue on the front of the board game, so I am going to do a light blue vinyl. Now I have all the font spacing how I want it, I have them sized how I want it, and I have them each by what color vinyl it's going to be. I am ready to click Make It. Then I'll hit Continue. I'm using permanent adhesive vinyl, so I'm just going to select vinyl for my cut setting. I'm using Oracal 651 permanent vinyl. I bought these sheets at Michael's, and I thought it was fun to use these bright colors for the kids' board games. I follow the prompts in Cricut Design Space showing me what order to cut out each color vinyl. Here I'm weeding the excess vinyl. I know you probably always see me weeding with this nail polish holder. It's one of my favorites when weeding, and you can actually find these at the Dollar Tree, even though I really love mine that I found off of Amazon. Also, if you have a Facebook account, I just created a group on Facebook if you want to join. It is free, and it's a great group to ask any Cricut or crafting questions you might have. I'll have a link down in my description box if you want to join. Here's my kids' board games that I'm going to be adding to bags. I have a few others that wouldn't work with the bags, and I do have others that I will be adding labels to later. I just didn't want the video to get too long. We also got a new Candyland and Connect 4 board game for Christmas, so that's why those boxes are still in pretty good shape. These are the bags I'm using. I bought them off Amazon, and I'll leave a link down in my description box if you are wanting to use these. I'm using transfer paper that I bought from Expressions Vinyl. It works really well. It picks up and releases the vinyl really easily. The only time I don't use this is if I really need to line vinyl up, like if it's going on a clear glass, because the transfer paper is more opaque and it's a little bit harder to see when lining up. I set the vinyl on the bag, then remove the transfer paper. Then I remove all the game pieces from the box and set them inside the bag. If you want kids who can't read yet to know what game they're picking out, you can cut out the front picture of the box and place it inside in the front of the bag as well. Now I'm moving on to my next board game. I always recommend scraping the vinyl backing with the scraper tool. This really helps the vinyl transfer a lot easier. If the transfer tape isn't picking up the vinyl, you can bring it back down and scrape the back some more, then start again. Since there's quite a few of these, I decided just to eyeball where to place the vinyl instead of measuring it out. With Candyland, I forgot to pay attention where the zipper was, so it doesn't match all the others. So I would make sure you place the vinyl on the same side for all the bags. I have that type of personality where it'll bug me if one is different than the others. Is there any other 90s kids out there that has played Pretty Pretty Princess? Let me know if you have. Now I'm just going to finish the last 2 board games. Now I'm going to make my decal for my cards. So I'm going to go back over to text, and I'm still going to use Aubrey for my text, and I'm just going to start typing in those names. I'm actually not going to mess with the letter spacing at all because I think it's fine like that. Now I'm going to grab my shape and make my square the size of my bag that I have. And it's kind of odd dimensions. It is 5.31 by 3.74. Now I'm going to figure out sizing, and I'm going to do this the exact same way that I did the other one, but it might be even easier to visualize that with this. I'm going to pick my widest word, so I think that's charades. It looks like it's 5.3 for the width. So I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to make that fit in the rectangle. I'm just going to right click and hit send to back. Then I'm just going to make this fit in here. Okay, I made charades fit inside my rectangle with a little extra space on each side, but let's say I take the Uno and try to make it with that extra space and make it fit in here. And you can see how charades, it just doesn't look good. Charades is way smaller than Uno. So once again, I am going to use my font size. So my font size for charades is 57.84. I'm just going to make it even and make it 58 inches. Then I'm going to go down to the rest of mine and make these all 58 inches. That's a great tip when you're doing labels and you have a lot of different sized words to make it the same font size. I'm going to delete this since I'm done with our template there. And I'm going to go back through these and hide them since I don't want to recut these out. I'm also just going to use black vinyl for all of these. I know it's not as fun and colorful, but all of my bags have a black zipper and I'm running out of vinyl, so I have a big roll of black vinyl, so I'm going to use that. And now I'm ready to click on Make It. I cut out and weed the vinyl. Like I said earlier, I'm using permanent vinyl, so I would recommend some type of permanent vinyl to adhere to the bags. Here's the card games. Some of these are in baggies, so I'm excited for them to be more organized. These are the smaller bags I'm using. I bought these from Amazon also, and I'll leave a link for it in my description box as well. I follow the same process when adding the vinyl to the bags. Now I'm ready to add the cards. Once again, here's how they look. This was such a fun project. Let me know if you decide that you are going to make these. And once again, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And I would love it if you subscribe to my YouTube channel. It is completely free, and I hope you guys all have a great day.